Okay, so let's first start out here. Similar figures. What exactly are similar figures? Similar figures are shapes that are exactly the same. One's bigger and one's smaller. That's exactly correct. All right. Now, we say that these shapes, because they are similar, their sides are proportional. Their sides are proportional. All right. What does that mean? In this particular case, I'd like for everybody to take a look at number 1. If I look at this shape right here, number 1, I want you to take a look where it says 3 inches, and I want you to take a look at where it says 6 inches. That means that the second triangle is what?
Larger.
2 times larger than the smaller triangle. You could also say that the smaller triangle is what? Half as large as the larger triangle. All right? Now, how did I know that? I know that because AC corresponds to DF. AC corresponds to DF. Is anybody hearing me on that? All right? So, because this is twice as big as this over here, Julia, EF would be what? 8 inches. That is correct. So all you have to do now is put down for number 1, x equals 8 inches. All right? Now, I told you it was pretty easy, but however, that's if you can look at something and see a relationship. But you might not always see that relationship. So now what I want you to do is I want you to look up on the board. You don't have to write anything down. This is where I'm making you smarter now. So stop writing. Stop looking at your iPad. Look up on the board so I can show you something. Let's say for some strange reason you didn't see that it was twice as big as the smaller one. Will, you with me?
Yeah.
I want you looking up here. All right? Here's what you can say. You can say 3 over 6 is equal to 4 over x. Now, all I want you to do, you don't have to write that down because you were smart enough to look at that and say, I just know it's twice as big. But now I'm trying to make a demonstration here that the base of the triangle over the base of the large triangle is equal to the right side of the triangle over the right side of the larger triangle. Is everybody with me on that? All right. Now, keep your eyes up because you're listening. Sebastian, you guys, I want you looking up. That's one way of doing it. Does everybody also see that I could write it as 6 over 3 is equal to x over 4, and that would be the same thing also?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's lots of ways you can set it up. I'm also going to show you one more thing, so make sure you're looking up. All right? Instead of writing it that way, I could also write it as 4 over 3 is equal to x over 6. In other words, I could write what? The right side over the base is going to be equal to the right side over the base. Is everybody with me? Now look up, please, because I'm going to show you something you can't do. Look up, look up, look up. You don't have to write it down because I think it makes sense. You can't say, for example, 4 over 6 is equal to 3 over x. Because this is the right side of the triangle, and this is the what? This is the base, or the bottom. You can't say the right side over the base is equal to the base over the right side. Is everybody with me on that?
Yes.
Now, of course, I personally think that's common sense. And if you were to cross multiply and solve this, every time you cross multiply this, you would always come up with what? 8. Is everybody with me on this?
Good afternoon.
All right, thank you very much. All right, so now in this particular case, we said those are all the different possibilities for those two triangles. All right, now again, every time you're looking at that shape, it's the same principle is going to apply, whether it's a triangle, whether it's a rectangle, whether it's a parallelogram. All right, they're always going to be similar. All right, Now, let's take a look at question number 2. All right, so again, based off observation, all right, what can you say about the parallelogram, the small parallelogram, and the large parallelogram? Julian? Exactly correct. And that's what I want you to be able to tell me. It's really not necessary to set up the proportion if you can just take a look at that and you can say, hey, it's just twice as big. All right? So x in this particular case is just going to be what? 10. Is everybody okay with that? 10 m. Yes, and of course we would say it's 10 meters because that's what the M stands for. All right, is everybody with me? All right, you guys just have to remember, if Miss Finland walks in, there's no hesitation. You guys can get up and say good afternoon. I know it's been a while. All right, I don't want you pointing fingers. It's not funny time, Julian. You hear me? You don't have time to play around. All right? So again, is everybody comfortable with that just being 10? Does everybody agree? 10 meters. That's not difficult, right? And most of the time, now again, they're starting off very basic. All right, but if you can't see the relationship, I want you to tell me. What? Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I want you to be able to do that. But you're not always going to be able to do that.
No, like, not just put the answer, not just see the answer. Like, right up.
Yeah, if you wanted to write this out, I'm okay with you writing it out. But you understand what I'm trying to tell you? I'm expecting my kids, when they look at that, say, the parallelogram is twice as big.
Oh, yeah.
Therefore, YZ is what we said, 10 meters. Tell me. Okay. Here we go. Now, take a look at number 3. Now, number 3 is a little bit harder. Why do I say 3 is a little bit harder? Tell me.
Because there's nothing.
Yeah, we can't look directly at the 6 and 8 and say, I'm going to multiply 6 to get 8. Everybody with me? So now we have to set up the proportion. All right, so Avery, do you know how to set up the proportion? Why don't you tell me what you think?
I would put 6 over 9 equals 8 over x.
Exactly correct. Look at that. Could you put 6 over 8 equals 9 over x?
Yes.
Does it matter?
No.
No. Now, Julian, that's what I'm saying. Pay attention. Listen carefully. She said 6 over 9 is equal to.
Oh, 8 over x.
Because 8. Just relax and listen. 6 is the left side. 9 represents the bottom. Left side to bottom. All right? Now, since we did this probably 100 problems yesterday dealing with proportions, we now know that we can cross multiply and get 6x is equal to 72. So x was what? 12. And we would go ahead and say what? 12 feet. What?
So it's okay if you did 6 over 8?
Yeah, if you did, look, let's look at it. If we did 6 over 8 is equal to 9 over x, guess what? Same answer.
Oh.
It doesn't matter how you set it up. You with me on that? It makes no difference. All right? The proportion, all right? The proportion might look different as long as you are correct with how you're setting this up, then you're going to be okay. All right? Now, I want everybody to take a look quickly at number 4. All right? So, Max, tell me how to set up number 4.
So you
Hold on a second. Connor, listen to me. I'm not telling you anymore. You guys are talking. I don't even know if you realize you're talking. You might be talking to yourself. All right? You're interrupting, all right? Thank you, sir. Go, Max.
12 over 18
12 over 18.
equals x over 15.
Beautiful. X over 15. Now, again, at this stage, you guys, you're allowed to use your calculators. All right? So if you have your calculator, take it out. If you don't have your calculator, I really don't want to let you borrow one, but I will. All right? Because I want you to come prepared every day. All right? I don't want you. Where's your calculator at? All right. Bring your calculator every day. Because I really don't want to let you borrow a calculator every day. It's supposed to bring. Shh. Okay. All right. What? Well, let's see and get the right answer here. Then you can tell me if yours works. All right, if I cross multiply, I get 18x is equal to 12 times 15 today is 180. So x equals what? Yes, and we would say 10 meters. 10 meters, yes.
I also I did 15 over 18 and then x to the 12 and that's the answer.
Okay, so let me say one more time, Sebastian, because you're smart. You make it A. You're just not listening. You're just absolutely not listening, because she just said the same exact thing. And I said, there are multiple ways, Sebastian, there are multiple ways to set these problems up. I don't, put your hand down. That's what the problem is. You're not listening. You shouldn't have your hand up if I'm giving an explanation. That doesn't make sense to you? So why are you acting that way? Come on, listen. Listen to what I'm going to be hard on you now. All right, simple. Come on, listen. No muttering under your breath. Say it out loud, like I'm saying it out loud to you. I know, because you're not listening. I'm explaining it a third time now. So now, look up and pay attention. I'm not going to check how you set it up every single time. Because why? You can tell me why. There are what? There are multiple ways to do it. If you get 10 as an answer, you set it up what? Correctly. You don't need me to check your work. All right? Avery, do you understand what I said?
Yes.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Julie, do you understand what I'm saying? Did you get 10 as an answer? Okay, so now we want to hear how you set it up. How did you set it up?
I did it the way that you guys did.
No, you did not. Or you would have gotten 10.
I did 12 over 18 and then I did x over 15.
Okay, so now, how did you cross multiply? What did you multiply?
I multiplied 15 times 12.
And what is that?
And I got 180 and then I multiplied that by 8.
Come on.
And then that's it.
What?
Well, shouldn't you do like 15 divided by 18? And then
No. Cross multiply. Cross multiply. When you say cross multiplying, good. That's a good mistake, all right? So it's no big deal. Cross multiplying means you're going to multiply this, and then you're going to multiply these together. That's what that means. You're not multiplying 18 times 15.
No, 15 divided by 18. And then you should get that.
Just go and listen. You're probably right. You probably can do that. But how do you know if you divide 18 by 15 or 15 by 18?
Well, the fraction of like the number you're trying to get is the
Okay, so now listen to me. I promise you there's a reason why I explain everything the way I do. Because math is logic. You hear what I'm saying now? So I promise you, if I thought it made sense to do it your way, I would show everybody that. All right, but I promise you, cross multiplying and dividing is always the easiest. All right, you don't have to, it's just a simple procedure. All right? Now, let's take a look at question number 5. All right, Ellis, I'm going to let you set this up for me. Perfect. Uh-huh. Tell me what that is. Then now what? Then what's that? Is everybody okay with that answer? Yes, ma'am. Okay, I'll let you do the next one. Now, again, setting it up isn't that difficult. Or it's not that difficult. All right, but you definitely have to pay attention. You may have any questions with that. All right, so now let's take a look at question 6. Caroline, go. Where's an 18?
Or 8 over
Good. Or we could just say right off the bat what? There you go. Yes, I'm agreeing with you on that. Does everybody agree with that? 20 inches, right? And we know it's 20 inches because the second hexagon is twice as big. Everybody see how easy that is, right? If you didn't see that, you set a proportion, you'll see that that comes out to be the answer. Everybody good with that? Yes, sir. All right, here we go. Let's take a look at question number 7. All right, here we go with question number 7. Tell me how to set it up. X over 35 is perfect. 18 over 30. Yep. Beautiful. Exactly. All right, so we're at 21 meters. Any issues? All right, Julian, I'm going to let you set up the next one.
So for the
Oh, now you got a tricky one now. All right,
so
I want to see what you can do.
so 10 over or
Right.
x over 10.
X over 10.
And then equals 12 over 15.
You're exactly correct, buddy. That's a good job on that one. All right. Now remember, look up on the board for just a quick second. This is kind of tricky for kids. This is, now look up, please. Will, you're not listening to me. Look up, Max. Because here's how they trick you. This is the what? Right side over the whole right side is equal to the bottom over the bottom. Now I'm gonna change something up here. Look up, LSU 2. Everybody look up. I'm gonna erase something, and then I'm gonna show you where kids make a mistake. And this is what's on most standardized tests. So please look. All right, I'm gonna erase something real quick. All right. And I'm gonna show you where most people make their mistakes. Please watch. I'm gonna draw this back up though. All right. Now I'm going to say from here to here is X. And I'm going to say from, and then I want somebody to set this proportion up for me. X, and I'm going to say from here to here is 2. Sebastian, how would I set the proportion up now? X over 2 and 12 over 15. Does anybody agree with that? Okay. Look up, because that's absolutely what? Incorrect. That's not correct. Look up so I can show you something. This is the hard one. All right, please look up. Now, what I want you to realize is this X is the right side. Come on, Julia. X is the right side of the small triangles. Everybody agree with that? And 2, is that the right side of any triangle?
No.
So that's not the answer. So it'd be X over, you are awesome, girl. That's exactly right. This is how it would be. X over X plus 2. Why is that? Because the whole length is what? X plus 2. Did you hear me on that? All right, now that I'm not asking you to do. I'm just trying to show you that's how it's going to be on some of these questions. You have to be careful. The right side of the triangle and the whole right side of the big triangle. 2 does not represent anything, any side of any triangles. Everybody see that, right? All right. So that I just know you're going to need in a little bit. All right. So I wanted to show you that. All right. But now, if you don't mind, I'm going to erase all this and go back to the original problem. The reason why the original problem is okay is because X represents the right side of the small triangle, and 10 represents the right side of the what? Big triangle.
Yeah.
Everybody happy with that? All right. So now when we cross multiply and divide, someone help me. What would that be? 15x is equal to 120. So somebody said it. 8, right? So x is equal to, and we'd say 8 yards. Jesse, you all right back there today?
No, I have a question.
I'm listening.
So where you put in, how do you know what the numbers in
Okay, so let's start one more time. You ready? Good question. That's why I'm fussing at you a little bit, because you don't hear me 100% of the time. All right, if you hear me 100% of the time, I promise you, it's easy. All right, so now listen carefully. I want you to tell me that x represents the right side of the small triangle. Do you hear that? 10 represents the what? Right side of the large triangle. Does that make sense? Now, the reason why you're having some trouble is because the triangles are stacked on top of each other. They're not separated. And now, sometimes I tell kids they should separate the triangles, but I think you're smart enough that you don't need to. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's a small triangle and there's a what? Exactly. X represents the right side of the small triangle, and 10 represents the right side of the what? Large triangle. So that has to be equal to what? The small base over the large base. Does that make sense? Now, sometimes I personally like it like this. I like x over 12 is equal to 10 over 15. You see why that works? Because x represents the right side and 12 represents the what? The base. Right side to base. 10 is the right side, 15 is the base. Feel good about that? Make sense? All right. So that's a good setup there. All right, now let's take a look at question number 9. All righty. Now, anybody notice anything here? We should be able to kind of look at this and tell me what the answer is.
Oh, I think I know.
Tell me.
8 miles.
Tell me why 10.
Because
Shh, hold on a minute. Let him try. I'm trying to get Julian to think better.
I think it's 8 miles because it seems so stupid. But when it says from the store to bank that little measurement, if you turn it on the side, and then it's exactly the same measurement.
Yeah, but listen to me, Julian. Julian, I understand you think that's funny.
I don't think it's funny.
Well, but listen to me. Here. Let me explain to you something. To me, math is just observation. Have I once told you to turn anything over and approximate? We've always done what? Proportions. We're doing proportions, Julian. All right, so you would look and say, one triangle is how much bigger, how many times larger than the other triangle? How did you guess?
3 times over.
How did you get 3 from that information that's up on the board? Well, how did you know it was 3? Where did you get 3? Just leave them alone. So you're not making any logical conclusions because you're not even giving yourself a chance. Look at the board. Look at the numbers. And what's the relationship between the numbers that are on the board? It has nothing to do with what you think. And that's what I'm trying to do for you. Stop guessing. Stop saying things. All I want you to do is I want you to look at the board or look at your iPad and say one triangle is about how many times larger than the other. Based off the numbers that you're looking at. What relationship do you see from the numbers that are up on the board? What numbers do you see?
8
And 8 and 4. So what's that relationship? What do you think that relationship is? Come on. What is that relationship? It's 2 times larger. That's what you're saying. It's 2 times larger. How did I know it was 2 times larger? because 4 times 2 is 8. So now, what is the distance from the bank to the store? No, it's twice as big. So what's the distance from the gas to the house? Yes, so then the bank to the... How did we get 16? Julian, look here, buddy, one more time. I'm going to draw it out for you now. From here to here. And then from here to here. You already told me it's twice as big. So now I'm going back to the green. How much is it from here to here? So now I'm back to the blue. How much would it be from here to here? Why did you say it was 2 times larger? So from this green right here to this blue is twice as big. So from this green to this blue, it's going to be how many times bigger? Twice as big. So it would be how much? 10. You can make that observation. 10 miles is the correct answer. All right. Here we go. Question number 10. All right. Now again, based off observation, Julia.
I did. So it would be 10 and 40. So 40 divided by 10 is 4. So I did.
Yep.
20 times 4.
Which is exactly correct. This is 80 yards. 80 yards. Because I want you to be able to see what? I want you to be able to see that from, please pay attention, from this distance is 10. That distance corresponds to the 40. Does that make sense? So now I'm going to draw the blue again. So from here to here is how much? So that I'm now looking at the red. Julian, are you still with me? All right, so that had to be 4 times as large still. All right, is everybody pretty happy with that? All right. Now, again, guys, those are just similar figures. All right, now let's flip the page. All right, let's see what we can do on this one. Okay, good. I'll let you talk now. Tell me, what's the proportion for number 1? Yes, yes.
So I did 4 over 6, and then I put 12 over x.
Beautiful. 4 over 6 equals 12 over x. So now what?
And then I multiplied 6 times 12, and I got 72.
Good job.
And then I divided it
And so?
by 5. And then I divided that by 4.
And so what? Yes, exactly correct. Good job. So big grade, it's really not that hard. All right? Yeah, good for you. You set up number 2 for me. Oh, well, you don't need to. You can just say it's what? How did you get that, though? You got to explain it.
Because 10 and 30 is times 3.
That's exactly
So
right.
9
Yep, exactly. 27 inches. All right? 27 inches. What? You see how I got that? All right. Now, let me hear about number 3. Number 3 should be a simple observation as well here.
I remember.
That's good, good. Tell me what you got.
Well, I did 11 over 44 equals 9 over x.
Perfect. Let me write that out. 11 and max. That's perfect. All right.
I did 9 divided by 11. And then I got, and then I multiplied that by 34.
I'm just
And
you.
then I got 36.
But you're doing your own math. And you know what? I'm totally fine with that. But as it gets harder, you're going to have a harder time. How do I really want you to do that, Max? And then what, Max?
Then you divide the answer.
Now, is there really any difference? You're supposed to say no, because you got the same answer, right? But you understand what I'm saying? I promise you, right, as you work your way up math, I'm trying to simplify it for you, right? So there's a process that I know you're going to use for higher level math. And it's not dividing the numerators and multiplying it by the denominator. You hear me on that? So I want you to try to multiply, cross multiply. You with me? So what did you say the answer was?
36.
Yes, the answer is 36. All right? Uh-oh. So I might have a little issue here. Well, I don't think so. All right. Who hasn't said anything today? Sebastian, set this one up.
So it would be
8 over 38 equals what? Exactly. Exactly. What'd you get? Is everybody okay with that? Is everybody all right? Does everybody agree it's not that hard, right? It's not that hard at all. All right, let's just do a couple more. Maybe we can get more done. Okay, so for question number 5, Colin, do you want to try to set number 5 up for me, buddy?
Sure.
All right, do number 5 for me.
All right, so number 5. So number 5 is 6 over 32 equals 3 over 10. Wait, x.
That's right, buddy. Perfect.
So then we cross multiply 6x equals 96.
You're awesome, buddy. And so x is?
X equals 16.
Thank you so much. That was easy. Very good. All right, does anybody feel like they're having some issues here? Nobody having issues, right? All right, I'm agreeing it's very simple. Tomorrow we're going to do something called indirect measurements, all right? Kind of similar to this. Listen to me, guys. All right, finish this worksheet up. All right, if you're done a little early, I totally understand that. All right, find something else to work on. All right, in the meantime, I'm going to call you up to my desk and you're going to show me all those proportions I asked you to solve yesterday. And I asked you to write down a few things for me to make sure you weren't just writing down the answer. Yes, of course.